Hey everybody, it's the American Civil War Collector with you here today, and I would like to welcome you to my first video. And I've brought out something that I think everybody is going to enjoy. And when I say everybody, I mean everybody. You don't have to be a Civil War buff, you don't have to be a gambler, you don't have to be a card player to appreciate what we've got here today for everybody. And with that, I would like to present to you these 4 Union-issued Civil War used playing cards. Now give me just a minute here and I'll go through these one by one. Also, while I'm blabbering, I'll have some HD images scrolling across the screen for you so that everybody can get a really close-up HD look and really experience what I'm experiencing, because you gotta get a look at these. And look at the shape they're in. 1862, nothing missing, no corners frayed. These are amazing. Just enough character to bring them to life. Look at the smudges. Beautiful. So like I said, these cards were made in 1862. They were produced by the American Card Company, and they were an attempt to bring patriotic symbols into the card deck. They replaced the spade, club, hearts, diamonds with the shield, eagle, star, and I am missing the flag would be the 4th piece of patriotic symbol. It'd be a red flag. Unfortunately, I couldn't get that. I was happy and lucky enough to get the 4 as it is. So they were made in 1862, the American Card Company, and they went out with this really catchy patriotic symbol. The American Card Company, confident that the introduction of national emblems in place of foreign in the playing cards will be hailed by the delight of the American people. Take pleasure in presenting the Union playing cards as the first and only genuine American cards ever produced, in the fullest confidence that the time is not far distant when they will be the leading card in the American market. Now this didn't happen. They actually stopped producing these in 1864. And they actually made 1.3 million decks, I believe, and issued them to Union soldiers. Now, it's just as likely, with all the theft after battles, that these ended up in Confederate hands as Union hands. So it's really hard to imagine who actually could have been playing with this particular deck of cards. Really fascinating to think about. Now, cards in the Civil War, wildly popular. As David Lade from the Union Army said, so far as my observation, 9 out of 10 play cards for money. And that can absolutely be tracked through hundreds of thousands of letters written home. Everybody gambled. Now, General Grant and General Lee had different ideas of this. General Grant loved to gamble. You can go look up a million stories of General Grant and his gambling and exploits during the war. One particular anecdote, and this isn't going to be word for word, but you guys will get the gist, is a Union and Confederate soldiers, a couple of them were out in the middle of no man's land one evening playing poker, and during a particularly heated hand, a Union officer rides up and says, "Ahoy, gentlemen, what goes on?" And the Confederate jumped up and he goes, "Oh, sorry, sir, just playing poker. I just won $2 from this here Yankee." The officer grins and says, "That's all, gentlemen, game's over." And he turns his horse to ride away. A Union soldier, jumping up, realizing who it is, snaps a crisp salute and goes, "Good evening, General Grant." So it would seem General Grant had a little leeway for extracurricular activities in his army. Now, General Lee, on the other hand, when he took over in 1862, he was appalled. He was probably the only person that didn't realize there was an abundance of gambling going on. He actually issued a direct order to the Army of Northern Virginia, and it was about as strongly worded letter as you'll ever see this man write. In 1803, he writes, "The commanding general is pained to learn that the vice of gambling exists and is becoming common in this army. He regards it as wholly inconsistent with the character of Southern soldier and subversive of good order and discipline in the army. All officers are earnestly enjoined to use every effort to suppress this vice, and the assistance of every soldier having the true interest of the army and of the country at heart is invoked to put an end to the practice, which cannot fail to produce those deplorable results which have ever attended its indulgence in any society." Now that order did little, if anything, to stop gambling in the South. And it's not like all the Southern gentlemen knew what they were doing was wrong. As one guy Let me find them here. A gentleman by Samuel Hankins wrote home. He goes, when the cannonading became more frequent, you could hear the calls, "Boys, we're gonna get it!" Then there would begin the searching of pockets for gambling goods, playing cards especially. The thought of being killed with such in their pockets induced the soldiers to throw them away. Once the battle was over, though, the so-called Devil's Picture Book once again trumped the good book, with players so avid that even the breast of a wounded comrade did for a table. So, as you can see, it was a big vice. It was the only thing to really do when you were at camp. You know, you could play marbles, dominoes, you could sing, and there was music. But at the end of the day, if you wanted to sit down for a couple hours and blow off some steam, you were probably playing cards. Now, a couple of really cool facts about this deck of cards and the deck of cards in general. The modern deck of cards as we know it, 52 cards, 2 jokers, came about throughout the Civil War period. In Europe, the first joker shows up in 1860, and the thought is that German soldiers that fought for both the North and South introduced the joker during the war, and sometime during Reconstruction, a soldier got his stuff together after everything settled down and decided to print the deck, and in 1867, the first known joker pops up in an American deck. So that's pretty neat. Another cool fact about the deck of cards, if anybody's ever wondered why the Ace of Spades always has a unique design, well, that's because in 1828 in England, it was decided that from now on, the Ace of Spades was going to be purchased from the Commissioners of Stamp Duties, and that it had to be specially printed along with the manufacturer's name and the amount of duty paid. And as a result, the Ace of Spades tended to have elaborate designs along with the manufacturer's name on it. And so this tradition kind of carried through, even though they appealed the tax stamps in 1960. I apologize. They appealed the playing card tax in 1960. So that's just kind of neat to think about, that the modern deck of cards that we're all playing with actually formed, in essence, during this conflict. It's kind of neat. One more tie between these 4 amazing cards and today. I really hope everybody's able to get a really close, good look at these. These things are honestly way too cool. It's a tragedy I couldn't track down any face cards. I'm working on it. When I find some, you guys will be the first to know. But this is it for now. Oh, that's not it actually, while I got you here. Check this out. I got this as a bonus for my purchase of these 4 amazing cards. This actually came in the pack. And this is an 1897 tobacco card. They first started adding indices in 1878, I believe, is when this shape started to take form. And we have a dapper Union gentleman lighting his cigarette, because that's the thought you need when you're lighting your cigarette. But I hope everybody enjoyed. Nice little walk down memory lane. I hope that was a really fun artifact for everybody, and I hope you got some useful information. Stop back, see me again. This is the American Civil War Collector, reminding everybody to stay civil.